You're watching Behind the Bar with Paul Starr.
Welcome to Behind the Bar with Paul Starr, brought to you by William Hill, the proud sponsor of the World Darts Championship. The PDC Development Tour started last weekend in Wigan. 4 events over 2 days. There were wins for Callum Luce, Steve Lennon, Josh Payne and Adam Hunt. Of course, last Thursday, week 8 of the Premier League, and they went to Liverpool, and what a night it was. Anderson done a job on Chisnall. RVB went down to Lewis. There was a draw, 3-match darts missed by Phil Taylor, a draw 6-6. Of course, against Peter Wright, and 3 very important points for Robert Thornton. He started off with a 7-5 win against Michael Smith and then grabbed the draw against Michael Van Geuren. I actually tipped that up last week at 8-1, a whopping 8-1 Behind the Bar, MVG 6-6 with Robert Thornton. This week, the roadshow moves on. Week number 9 to Cardiff, not just any night, because it's Judgment Night with 3 players looking to avoid dropping out of this year's competition. That's Michael Smith, Dave Chisnall, and of course Robert Thornton. I'm happy to say we're joined by the 2015 BDO World Champion Scott Mitchell, who's going to help us try and grab some value for this Thursday. How you doing, Scott?
Yeah, all good, thanks.
Lovely. Week number 9 of the Premier League. I know, well, I would say, obviously, being a professional dart player and a world champion, do you watch a lot of darts, whether it's BDO or PDC, or are you one of the players? If I'm not involved in the tournament, I won't tune in too much.
A fan. I am a fan as well as a player. I've kind of described myself as a fan that's kind of made it to world champion. So I do watch a lot of it because obviously, you do play the guys now and again. So if I'm home and if it's sort of on, then yeah, for sure I'll go and find it and watch it.
Well, the Premier League, thanks for giving your thoughts on this. The Premier League is week number 9. Of course, the bottom 2 go out this week. It could be Chisnall, could be Smith, Michael Smith, or it could be Robert Thornton. But the first game on, James Wade is 11-4. There's 4-1 the draw. Gary Anderson is so short at 8-13. But I've got an amazing stat here that Gary in their last 10 meetings is won 9, has been 1 draw. So can you go against Gary, even though he's so short at 8-13? What would you say on that, Scott?
I don't think you can, actually. I mean, that stat sort of says it itself, When a player has I don't know whether a bogey player is the way to say it, but there are players that feel more comfortable playing other players, and obviously Gary feels really comfortable playing James.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're going to go 8-13. Gary there. Michael Smith, a big price, 5-1. The draw, 5-1. But Phil Taylor is playing fantastic. He's 1-3. Again, it's ridiculously short, but can we go against the power?
Well, we keep asking ourselves, is Phil done? Is it? And he just keeps coming. He's honestly more comebacks than Lazarus, I think Sid Waddell would say. I can't see that you can bet against Phil on this one. He does own the stage, and he looks like he's back owning the stage as well. And there's only a couple of guys that look capable of turning him over at the moment, and he's still hot on their heels as well. So yeah, I think 5-1 is a long shot, and I think that shows why it's a 5-1 really.
Okay, mate. So we're going to go 1-3 Taylor. Now this, I'm going to let you call this one. This is quite tight, but Dave Chisnall 2-1, Peter Wright slightly odds on at 10-11. 10-3 the draw, just over 3-1 there. But Dave Chisnall's got a 9-5 head-to-head advantage. But Peter Wright beat Dave in the World Championship this year in a cracker 4-3. I'm going to let you choose that one. Chisnall 2-1, Wright 10-11.
This one was tight. I think this one's tight. I played both guys obviously at the Grand Slam. They were in my group, and I beat Dave, and I didn't beat Peter. Yet I had a higher average against Peter. So. I really think it's if whoever gets to start on this, I really do. I think Dave obviously is battling for his life. Is he going to have a slow start? Chizzy sometimes will give you a go at a double and miss a double himself early doors. If he does that tonight with Peter, then Peter will beat him. But Chizzy's a mate. He's one of my old BDO buddies, and I hope he wins. I really do. My heart says I don't want Chizzy going out. He's a real character, and I hope he can manage to stay in.
Yeah, 2-1 Chizzy. In fact, all of these 5 matches have been World Championship matches in 3 of them this year. In fact, but the 4th game on is another stat. Thornton is 3.5-1, 7-2, 4-1 the draw. Adrian Lewis is short at 1-2, but. Look at this for a stat. Head-to-head, there's been 1 draw. Lewis has won 18, Thornton just 4, and Lewis has not lost to Thornton for 3 years. Can we go against Adrian?
I don't think so. I don't think Roberts found his form this year in the Premier League. He's been left a little bit wanted, I think, at times, and a little bit disappointed with himself. And I don't know whether some of the results have disheartened him, and then he's going back the following week. And it can play on your mind for players. You know, all of us have that. I just think that the age sort of back in a good mind space at the moment, and he's back there. You know, almost where he needs to be, and he's there, and he's the sort of player at the moment where you'd still fancy him against Phil or Michael or Gary. So I mean, you'd be really tough to go against Adrian on this one.
Lovely. 1-2, Adrian. Now, I'm going to try and convince you to go against Michael Van Gogh, and I must be mad because Michael Van Gogh is 1-4, 6-1 the draw, 6-1 Barney. But Barney, of course, beat Michael, and he seems like the only player who can get inside Michael's head, and he's 6-1 to draw, 6-1 for the win against Michael Van Gogh, and of course he beat him 4-3 in the World Championship just a few months ago. Should we have a bit of value at 6-1, the win or the draw, or are we going to just go all on Michael?
You know, I mean, I'm a farmer's kid. I wouldn't bet half a dozen eggs against Michael. You know what I mean? He's just absolutely phenomenal. I played him a while back, and I was 2-1 up. And I lost 13-4 in an exhibition. So even when you get in front of Michael, he doesn't worry at the moment. I think he's just throwing at those doubles with his eyes shut. He's just the man at the moment. But I think the thing here is that Michael has a lot of respect for Raymond. I think that maybe Raymond was Michael's hero at some point in time along the line. And that makes him very difficult to play and a very difficult player to play. And I think that could be in Raymond's favour, really, but that's kind of really clutching at straws for Raymond. Without being rude, oh God, Mike, he just doesn't lose, does he? He just doesn't lose. How can you? I don't see him lose, so I've got to go with Michael, and I know I've gone with all the favourites, but I just can't see. I don't know if Raymond goes 3-0. I don't know. I think this is tighter than the others, to be fair.
Yeah. Should we go 6-1 the draw? How about 6-1 the draw?
Yeah, could be. I reckon it could be.
Yeah, 6-1 the draw. I'll tell you what, Scott, thank you so much for joining us on Behind the Bar. If you don't mind, we'll call you again in the next few weeks and get you back on here. Thank you so much. And apologies to the missus, getting you just coming from work and I'm grabbing you to do an interview. Thank you again, mate.
It's not a problem at all, mate. Always good to chat to you. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to watching the results.
Yeah, fingers crossed we got some value. Thank you, Scott. All the best, mate.
See you guys.
Great to catch up there with Scott Mitchell, of course, the 2015 BDO World Champion. As we mentioned, Michael Van Gogh, you know, he is unstoppable. And of course, he landed the German Darts Masters at the weekend, overcoming Peter Wright again, like he did down at Butlins in the UK Open just a few weeks ago. So let's look at the value. 8-13. Gary Anderson against James Wade. We've gone for Taylor at 1-3 against Michael Smith. Chizzy 2-1 to beat Peter Wright. Adrian Lewis 1-2 to overcome the Thorn. And Paul's premier pick, I'm going to go for this one, 6-1. Raymond van Barneveld to play out a draw with Michael Van Gogh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free. You can do that by clicking here. Of course, like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter, and join us next week on more Behind the Bar, brought to you by William Hill, the proud sponsor of the World Darts Championship.